Hello, my name is John, and today we'll be reading How China Disrupts the Middle East. It's investing money and gaining influence in ways that are worrisome, by Daniel Pipes, Washington Times, September 10th, 2019. As Vladimir Putin's declining Russia flaunts its power in the Middle East, Xi Jinping's ascending China eludes the attention it deserves. But the Communist Party of China has begun investing money and gaining influence in ways that have vast and worrisome implications. After years of relative passivity, Beijing is now making a concerted effort to expand its strategic presence and economic clout in the Middle East, writes Ilan Berman, Senior Vice President of the American Foreign Policy Council, in the current issue of the Middle East Quarterly. Mr. Berman rightly calls this one of the most consequential trends of recent years. Two motives, energy and ideology, explain China's regional ambitions. As the country becomes more prosperous, its growing energy consumption leads to more dependence on Middle Eastern suppliers. China imports more than half of its crude oil, and of that nearly 40% comes from the Middle East, with the proportion continuing to rise. In Mr. Berman's estimation, the region is quickly becoming a key engine of Chinese economic growth, which in turn implies an imperative for Beijing to gain more influence over what happens there. Beyond this practical need, asserting Chinese power has become an end in of itself since Mr. Xi took power in 2013, leading to what Mr. Berman calls an increasingly aggressive expansionist foreign policy. This includes an attempt at global economic dominance via the Belt and Road Initiative that involves 100 countries. In the Middle East, this has meant that the Chinese government's ambitions have grown in the past 5 years from merely buying energy and selling arms to far deeper involvement. Symbolic of this transformation, annual Chinese investment in the region a decade ago amounted to $1 billion. At just a single forum recently, it pledged $23 billion in loans and development aid. In August, it sent a $1 billion cash infusion to Turkey alone. Militarily, Beijing became a leading contributor to the UN peacekeeping operations, sent the People's Liberation Army Navy on visits to many ports, and opened its first regional bases in Djibouti in 2015. The future presumably holds many more Chinese military bases. As Beijing begins to alter politics and security in the region, Mr. Berman notes tremendous consequences. Here are three. U.S.-Israel ties. Chinese leaders so appreciate the Jewish state's technological prowess that they invested $3.2 billion in the first half of 2019 and now are estimated to control or have influence over as much as 1/4 of Israel's tech industry, including military contractors working on confidential projects with American firms. Indeed, China may soon replace America as Israel's single largest source of investment, a prospect that not only has official Washington increasingly alarmed, but could damage a decades-long, particularly close and productive bond. Xi, China's massive repression of its Muslim population, especially of the Uyghurs in its far western province of Xinjiang, has met with a collective shrug from such Muslim notables as Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and Turkish President Erdogan. This inexcusable lack of concern contrasts dramatically with the Muslim world's prolonged tantrum over little Israel's far milder treatment of the Palestinians. It also signals that China's size, power, and ruthlessness renders it free to repress Islamic religion and culture within its domains and perhaps beyond. High-tech dictatorship. The China model of surveillance, censorship, monitoring, and repression has become an important export commodity. It also has terrible implications. The Chi-Com ability to control every aspect of its subjects' lives. Think smartphones as spy devices and 200 gigabyte photographs. Through innovative and ubiquitous technologies, hugely enhances the power of the state. Not surprisingly, these find a ready market in the Middle East. Chinese companies have helped Iran's mullahs to stay in power since the Green Movement of 2009. They have taken over nearly all of Egypt's telecommunications, giving President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi vast controls to stifle his population. They are also worryingly active in Lebanon and Saudi Arabia, and elsewhere too, such as Africa and Latin America. Faithful to communist anti-imperialist dogma, Mr. Xi strenuously denies that his government seeks to develop a sphere of influence in the Middle East, instead proclaiming an innocent intent merely to help with economic development. Ignore the puffery. Beijing not only holds the power to alter alliances, political discourse, and even domestic freedoms throughout the region, as Mr. Berman puts it, but it intends to exploit that power to the maximum. This video is a production of the School of the White Crane. Hi, my name is John Brooker. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, and please share this video with family and friends, and on social media. May God richly bless you, my beloved.